What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I am Chase Corrington. This is the Chase Corrington YouTube channel where we seek to achieve and maintain happiness through enlightenment. Today we're going to do verse 3 of the Tao Te Ching, because apparently I did verse 4 before I did verse 3. And I'm reading this out of Dr. Wayne Dyer's Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, which is a dang true statement. Secret of the universe, what you think about expands. And if you change your thoughts, you can change your life. Okay, the third verse of the Tao Te Ching. Putting a value on status will create contentiousness. If you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal. By not displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. Incredible. The sage governs by emptying minds and hearts, by weakening ambitions and strengthening bones. Practice not doing. When action is pure and selfless, everything settles into its own perfect place. When action is pure and selfless, everything settles into its own perfect place. And then the first line, putting a value on status. That could be the hardest thing to disconnect with, is valuing status and your status, or the status that people hold on you. It almost seems like a lot of this wisdom, these teachings that come from the Tao and Eastern philosophy, it's like a non-emotional way while having the choice. Because robots, I think of, science fiction movies and stuff, or if you're a Star Trek fan, then you could understand this by thinking of the Vulcans and how they're non-emotional, only logic. Or think of a machine, non-emotional, only logic. But these Eastern philosophies, it's being that way while still having the choice, because a machine doesn't have the choice to choose to be emotional or non-emotional. It just operates from a base of non-emotion. Fascinating, the disconnecting of emotions while still having them. Or maybe it's only choosing positive emotions rather than negative ones. But let's get back to the verse here. Putting a value on status will create contentiousness. And when you overvalue your possessions, that's when people begin to steal. So by not displaying what is desirable, you will cause people's hearts to remain undisturbed. So in other words, it's like, don't flaunt your nice things to other people, and don't overvalue physical things. And once people have a very high value on physical things, people begin to steal. If we don't care about physical things any more than we need to, if we don't, let's put it in the words that it uses, if we don't overvalue possessions, physical things, then we start to value non-physical things more, because that's something you can't steal, is the non-physical things. And you would hope you wouldn't be able to steal somebody's spirituality. That's for a different conversation, though. One of my favorite lines of this particular verse, and one of my favorite things about the Tao, is this idea of not doing. And after that, there's 4 dots. So it's like, practice not doing, dot, 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 dot. Like, seriously, let it breathe and just practice non-doing, but rather being. And I added the but rather being part there. Practice not doing. When action is pure and selfless, everything settles into its own perfect place. This makes me think of how when you do your act, when you are being of service with no connection to outcomes and results, you're not doing services, you are being of service. Wayne Dyer himself will talk about, when he's speaking, let's go and let's God. And when you let go and not try to force the action or control or connect to outcomes, let's read it again. When action is pure and selfless, everything settles into its own perfect place. This makes me think of speakers. When they're speaking, they refer to it as just letting God speak through them. Or when you're inspired, like when I'm painting, or like when I'm talking right now, it's like just letting the source or universe or whatever God is for you, the Tao, flow through you. Because when your action is pure and selfless, this is not for me, this is for somebody else. For somebody else who may have never considered these kind of thoughts, and that could get value and grow from these kind of ideas. And this flowing, this pure and selfless act, then the value that others can get from this will settle into its own perfect place. One of my favorite quotes is, "The truth always wins. It just takes time to breathe." So not at first. So let's see what Wayne Dyer has to say about this 3rd verse of the Tao Te Ching. He titles this chapter, Living Contentment. This 3rd verse of the Tao Te Ching advises rearranging priorities to ensure contentment. Focusing on obtaining more objects of desire encourages external factors to have control over us. Internal versus external control. The physical versus the spiritual being. So let's skip forward a little bit here. I'm just trying to share this with someone in hope that they'll actually want to buy this book. Change your thoughts, change your life. I'll leave a link to the book below if you're interested in reading it. It's fascinating. I want people to get the physical copies of these things, because if technology turns off one day, I won't need the technology to go back through the materials. A reminder in here that says, remind yourself daily that there is no way to happiness. Rather, happiness is the way. There's no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. Trust the perfection of the eternal Tao, for it is the ultimate source of the 10,000 things. And so here is our challenge for this week. Do the Tao now. Watch for an opportunity today to notice that you're planning on buying something. Choose to do the Tao and listen for guidance. Be grateful that you have the choice to make the purchase. Then practice listening to yourself and not doing. Through your feelings, the Tao will reveal the way for you in that moment. Through your feelings, the Tao will reveal the way for you in that moment. Trust it. You might be guided to buy the item and savor it with gratitude. Donate it. Procure one for you and one for someone else. Give the money to charity instead of getting the item. Or refrain from obtaining it altogether. Practice doing the Tao in everyday situations, and you'll know contentment in a deeper sense. As this verse says, when action is pure and selfless, everything settles into its own perfect place. Now that's a definition of contentment. My definition of contentment, Dr. Wayne Dyer says. So wonderful. So wonderful. I really want to put more time into this. And we will be doing that in the future, putting more time into going through Dr. Wayne Dyer's Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, living the wisdom of the Tao, all the way up to verse 81, there being 81 verses in the Tao Te Ching. Until the future, hope you got value from this video. If you did, consider subscribing. Leave a like. Let me know in the comments your thoughts. Continue to seek to achieve and maintain happiness through enlightenment. Seek to discover the hidden mysteries of our reality and the hidden wisdom of the ages. I'll be back in the future with more interesting content to throw your way.